The airline business, well, it might seem to be a glamorous and a profitable sector, but looking at some of the aviation tycoons and their present financial situation, we should think twice. King of good times, Vijay Mallya was one of the business tycoons who lost all his good times on his Kingfisher Airlines. Similarly, Naresh was led to the ground by Jet Airways. Will history repeat itself for Ratan Tata after he bought Air India? Let's find out. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tribhuvan, and in this video I will tell you if Air India could destroy Tata as it did with Mallya and Naresh Goyal. Let's begin. The Government of India on September 8 finally took the monumental step of unloading the loss-making national carrier Air India to the highest bidder. The Tata Group emerged as the winner to acquire the airlines with its 18,000 rupees crore bid. While the announcement was euphoric and naturally invited emotional reactions, the company has a humongous task ahead of it in resurrecting the airlines, which is on a ventilator for the better part of the last 2 decades. In its rupees 18,000 crore bid, the Tata Sons will be taking over rupees 15,300 crore debt of the bleeding airlines and infuse rupees 2,700 crores into the coffers of the government. Meanwhile, the rest of Air India's burgeoning debts, which stood at rupees 61,562 as of August 2021, will be borne by the government. The aviation sector is a tricky business. Liquor baron Vijay Mallya found it in hard way, and so did Jet Airways' Naresh Goyal. Born with a silver spoon courtesy of his father Vittal Mallya, Mallya Jr. didn't want the Kingfisher brand limited to the spirits industry. He wanted its name in the Indian skies and thus focused on establishing a premium airline. The suave, debonair Mallya wanted to serve luxury to the Indian masses, but in an over-regulated country like India, where much of the aviation fuel has to be imported and is heavily taxed, the running cost of the airlines turned to red in no time. And despite the airline running in full capacity, it had very little chance of profitability considering the high initial investment and mounting slabs of debt from the banks. Things reached a head when a takeover of Air Deccan pushed his company deeper into a red. A situation only got exacerbated with time. With the company now defunct, unpaid loans in the range of a few thousand crores, Mallya proceeded to liquidate his shares in UB and USL. But stuck with the Murphy Law, everything that could go wrong for Mallya went even worse. Vijay Mallya tried hard to model himself as India's Richard Branson, but eventually became a fugitive of the law. Similarly, the downfall of Jet Airways started after acquiring debt-ridden Air Sahara in an attempt to challenge Mallya's Kingfisher, which in hindsight proved to be a horrid decision. In 2013, it sold a 24% stake to Etihad Airways. However, this could not save the debt-ridden company, and its market leadership continued to weaken. The entry of other low-cost airlines like Indigo and SpiceJet further dampened the chances of revival as the debt amounted to $1.7 billion. Jet Airways could not weather the competition posed by other efficient, low-cost airlines in the market and perished. The former chairman of Jet Airways, Naresh Goyal, even tried to pull off a Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi. Barely 2 days after PM Modi's coronation as the country's leader for the second time, Goyal, along with his wife, boarded a flight attempting to flee when the authorities intervened at the 11th hour and stopped them from leaving the country. It's not as if Tata is starting afresh in the aviation sector and needs to lecture about risks of plunging neck first into the industry. Tata Sons is an active part of Air Vistara and Air Asia, 2 airlines with considerable business in the Indian stratosphere. The former had been hit hard by the COVID pandemic and is in a serious debt crunch. Reportedly in financial year 20, Vistara's pre-tax loss widened to rupees 1,814 crores against rupees 831 crore in financial year 19 due to higher operating costs. Even for Air Asia, all is not hunky-dory. According to an Asian Nikkei report, hit by a price war and the plunge in the air travel, the company incurred net losses for 7 straight 3 months period from the third quarter of 2019 to 2021's first quarter. Air Asia last October slashed 10% of its workforce of 24,000 people, including those at long-haul airlines Air Asia, and offloaded a mere chunk of shareholdings to the Tata Group. Tata Sons now own 84% of shares in Air Asia India, with an option to buy the remaining 16% share by next year. In a nutshell, Tata has invested rupees 6,000 crores in 2 airlines since commencing operation and lost over rupees 9,000 crores. The airline business is a capital guzzling and money losing venture. The airlines operating on razor-thin margins as far as profits are concerned. So even small fluctuation in, say, interest rates, taxes, fuel prices hurt them significantly. Any kind of natural or man-made disasters like COVID or crash accident or any other unexpected event ensures that the company has a hard time balancing its accounting books. Tata is not expecting to make any profit for the next 5 years through Air India, according to its internal surveys. And thus, it will put a lot of pressure on its other money-minting businesses such as TCS and the steel companies to bail it out. Some experts remark that Tata will have to spend the same amount of money as its winning bid to restructure the airlines and even get anywhere close to breaking even. There have been murmurs that after receiving keys to the cockpit of Air India, Tata Sons could potentially merge its operation with AirAsia and Vistara, making it one of the biggest airlines entities in the country. It will also help minimize the operational cost of running 3 airline businesses concurrently. N. Chandrasekaran, chairman Tata Sons, in an interview with Times of India in 2019, had remarked that he would not run a third airline unless they are merged. Over the last decade, more than rupees 1.10 lakh crore was infused by the way of cash support and loan guarantees in the loss-making airlines to keep it afloat. The government was bleeding rupees 20 crores every day to keep the airline afloat. The takeover is expected to be completed by December, and unless Tata has a lean cost structure plan already in place, it will continue to burn cash. Moreover, Tata is expected to negotiate the expensive vendor contracts, bring down the bloated headcounts to 214 employees per plane, which in other airlines such as Singapore Airlines and British Airways is limited to 160 and 178 respectively. Moreover, TCS can be roped in to fix the archaic software of the aeroplanes, which still reminds one of the days of British Raj whilst travelling in them. Air India is India's major airliner which connects almost all parts of the world to our country. It has a vast fleet of jets. As of August 2021, Air India operates no less than 127 aircraft, which includes fleets of Boeing 777-300ER, Boeing 777-200LR, Boeing 747-400 and Airbus A320neo, among others. If there is one corporate group that can turn around the fortunes of Air India, it is the Tata Sons. Air India was snatched away from JRD Tata, and now Ratan Tata is bringing the airlines back to the empire. There's a sense of emotional value which the Tatas attach to Air India. And then the Tatas have the potential of making Air India the country's global airline, which not just Indians fly on, but people from across the countries use for air travel as well. It's a hefty challenge, but if Tata Group pulls its socks and gets the basics right, India's aviation sector could be all set for a revolution. The Tatas must implement their plan for Air India with the utmost care, as the future of Indian aviation has now come to depend on them in a big way.